In the second minigame, we'll be using different tiles, neutral tiles. In this minigame, the game gives you some sentences that you have to translate, and on the basis of those sentences, you have to deduce which atoms are green and which are red with the help of these little cubes. So, as an example, let's try the first mini puzzle. Let's translate each of these 6 sentences with the connectives and the little atoms. The first sentence says, "Moon is in the message if and only if Earth is not." So we can put moon, if and only if, not Earth. This, as you may have noticed, is a new connective. This was not in the first game. This connective means not. So if you put it in front of an atom, this says not Earth. So we can check moon is in the message if and only if Earth is not is equivalent to saying moon if and only if not Earth. Second sentence. If air is in the message, then star is too. So we start with the connective. So it's an if-then connective. So if air is in the message, then star is too. Third sentence. Either fire or water are in the message. So let's start with the connective. So fire or water. The fourth sentence says, if fire is not in the message, then air is. So the connective is, again, the if-then. So if fire is not in the message, we can translate this with not fire. So if not fire, then air. Neither fire nor earth are in the message. So not fire and not earth. So we can translate. So we have to think a little bit about this and think, okay, what does this mean? Neither fire nor earth are in the message. This means that not fire and not earth. So it's actually an and connective. So not fire and not earth. Finally, the sixth sentence says, if fire is not in the message and earth is not in the message, then sun certainly is. Now this is a long sentence, and as you can see, there's two connectives. There's one and there's one if then. So this means that there's a shorter sentence nested inside of this longer sentence. So we're gonna need parentheses. So let's start with the shorter sentence. So fire is not in the message and earth is not in the message. So we can translate that by not fire and not earth. So this is the shorter nested sentence. We can put parentheses around it. And now we can look at this as if it was one atom. So it basically says, if fire is not in a message and earth is not in a message, then sun certainly is. So it basically says, if this, then sun. Perfect. So now we've done step one or the first part of this mini puzzle, which is translating all the sentences. Now we have to look at the pies, the connective pies, and which will help us decide which atoms are green and which atoms are red, which is basically the whole aim of this puzzle. So let's start. We can see that, so we know that these connectives are basically all green because they're what the instructions tell us. Like, these are all true sentences. So we can put a green on the main connective, which is here is the main connective. We can put green little cubes on the main connectives of the sentences, which are the connectives which tie the whole sentence together. So here it's the if-then, right? Because this is the long sentence, and it's this, then this. Then from there, we can try to figure out how to proceed and where to put these little cubes. One thing that is very important to know is that the not tile flips the color of an atom. Let me explain. So here it says and it's a green and, right? So the and pi tells us that green and is when both atoms are green. The atoms here are these little groups of tiles. So not fire is green and not earth is green. What does this tell us about fire and earth? Well, as I said, the not operative or the not connective flips the color of the atom. So if not fire is green, then fire is red. And similarly, if not earth is green, then earth is red. So from then we can proceed. Now we know that fire is red, so we can put a little red on all the fires. And we know that earth is red, so we can put a little red on all the earths. Now what do we know? There's a bunch of not signs again. So by thinking about this the other way, we know that this not is green because this atom is red. This not is green because this atom is red. So this connective is green, right? Because it has a green and a green on either side. So you can put a green on it. So now let's look at the if-then pi. The if-then pi is true if the first, the atom on the left is green, and if the one on the right is green as well. Or if the one on the left is red and the one on the right is green. Or if they're both red. Here we look at it and we see that to the left, the main connective, which basically gives the color of this entire group, is green. So the only case where this will be a true sentence, which is what they told us at the beginning, is when the second one is green as well. So we can put a green on sun. Now let's continue. Let's finish this. We can see that earth is red, so not earth is green. Looking at the if and only if pi, we know that moon is green. Now, what else do we know? We can see that not fire is green. Looking at the if-then pi, which is this scenario, this case in this scenario, we know that wind is green. So we can put a green here. Again, looking at the if-then, we can see that star must be green. So put green here. And finally, the last sentence where we have not filled out all the little cubes is an or sentence. And we know that fire is red. So let's look at the or pi. And we know that for or to be green, at least one of the two has to be green. So water must be green. So we filled out the puzzle and we've determined the color or the truth value of every atom, of every little symbol. So we know that sun is green. We know that earth is red. We know star is green. We know water is green. And we know fire is red. And we also know that moon is green. So we have solved the puzzle. Now we can go check in the solutions whether we got it or whether we made a mistake. And also, Gwent is green. And yes, so there's a bunch of these puzzles. They go by difficulty, so they get harder. And this is how to play the game. And in some of the harder puzzles, some atoms you cannot actually decide whether they're green or red. So then you can just put both a green and a red little cube on it to show that you cannot tell. You cannot decide from these sentences whether they are true or false.